The graphics are, in one word, amazing. The island is beautiful and rich in details and is designed well. The character design is well done and realistic, and even more so as the story develops and Lara Croft gets dirty and beat up, which shows realism in the game. There was little not to like about the amazing graphics in this game, and some of the best graphics this generation. So the graphics gets a perfect score of a 5 out of a 5. The voice acting is amazing and the music is decent. The environmental sounds are realistic and helps you get into the game. The dialogue of the enemies are pretty good, and I find myself listening into the conversations of the enemies so I can get more information about the game. The weapon sounds are also pretty good, and it does help bring the tension up as the explosions happens all around me. The music does get kind of bland at times, so it brings it down from perfection. The sound still gets an above average score of a 4 out of a 5. The story is amazing. If you love the Tomb Raider games or action games in general, you will love the story and the strong point of the game. You find yourself really caring about Lara Croft, and I love the supernatural aspects of the game. The story, without going into much detail, is basically Lara Croft and her group is trying to get off the island, but there's a force that's keeping her on the island. There's also some other survivors that are not too friendly. The only downfall of the game is that the other characters are not developed as well. You find yourself really not caring too much about them, or if they die or not. That is a minor complaint overall, and it does not take away from the perfect story, so the story gets a perfect score of a 5 out of a 5. I love the controls of this game. The controls are well designed, and you will be going through the environment like a pro in no time. The combat is well done, and there is a well done stealth aspect to the game as well. I love the bow, and I was shooting people in the head stealthily like a pro, which I love the bow mechanics. The other weapon mechanics are not as good, but they are decent, and you shouldn't have a problem with them. But they are a step down from the bow mechanics in my opinion. Your skill set and weapons can be upgraded, which is an awesome addition, and there's a thing called Survival Instinct Mode, which highlights things like climbing walls, where you can attach your ropes, and even gives you a general direction where you need to go. It makes the environmental puzzles easier to do, which are a great thing, by the way, but it is optional, and you will not need to use it, but it's nice to know that it's there in case you get lost. There is some openness to the game, as you can find the optional tombs that is in the environment that are pretty big. Overall, the gameplay is perfect, so the gameplay gets a perfect score of a 5 out of a 5. The online multiplayer is decent, but it feels tacked on because this is a single-player game at its heart. This and the fact that really is a reason to play it after you beat it, because it does open up the island so you can get every book, treasure, and find the optional tombs you have missed during the story. Does bring back some replayability, so the replayability gets an above-average score of a 4 out of a 5. This is a fantastic reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise, and I recommend this game to anyone that loves the series, or anybody that loves action games in general, because this is one of the best action games this generation.